Remember that when you take the absolute value of anything, the result will be positive. It will never, ever be negative. So when solving an absolute value equation, you will want to do the following. If you have the absolute value of something equaling a number, you should change it to what's inside the absolute value equals the number, and what's inside the absolute value equals negative the number. So you're going to have two separate equations. If you have the absolute value of something equaling a negative number, it is not possible. There is no answer. It cannot be done. Also, just as an aside, if you have the absolute value of something equaling the absolute value of something, you can just change it to the absolute value of the inside equaling, well, just the inside equaling the other inside, and then the inside of the first one equaling the negative inside of the other one. Now, it seems like it's a little bit weird, but we have an example to show it, so no problem. So we're going to solve each absolute value equation. We have absolute value of x minus 3 equals 4. So because I have an absolute value by itself, and it equals a positive number, I'm going to break up into two separate equations. X minus 3 equals 4, and x minus 3 equals negative 4. One is going to be positive, one will be negative. And now I just solve each one. Add 3 to both sides. X is going to equal 7. Easy enough. But now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and x is going to equal negative 1. So I will actually get two answers for this absolute value equation, a positive 7 and a negative 1. The order is irrelevant of which one you put first, as long as you have both. Next, I have the absolute value of 6z minus 5, and it's equal to negative 13. The absolute value is by itself, but it's equal to a negative number. That is not possible to answer. So we can say that this has no solution. And if you want to, you could even say the empty set, which you can represent like so. So either one will work. Next, I have absolute value of 3y plus 1 minus 5 equals negative 3. Now you may be tempted to jump straight ahead and say it's equal to a negative, so it's not possible. But we do not have the absolute value by itself. We have to do that first to see. So what we're going to do is get everything that's not inside of it over. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So I'm going to absolute value of 3y plus 1 is going to equal 2. Now this is okay. Absolute value equals a positive number, no problems. So let's separate it into two separate equations. One positive and one negative. And now we're going to solve each one individually. So subtract 1 from both sides, going to equal 1, then divide by 3. Y is going to equal a third. So we got one answer. And then we're going to do it again, subtract 1 from both sides. It's going to equal negative 3, and divide by 3. Cancel out, so y equals a negative 1. And that will be the second answer. So again, positive 1/3 and negative 1 are the two answers here. Last, absolute value of 3x plus 2 is equal to the absolute value of 2x minus 5. So this is kind of like the weird one I was talking about. So what you want to do is immediately from the beginning, just drop the absolute value bars and set it equal to each other, like so. But we're also going to do it one more time, and we're going to have a negative in front of the other one. You could put the negative in front of the first one as well, whichever you prefer, as long as the negative is in front of one of them. I prefer the second one. So here, I'm going to solve for x. So subtract 2x from both sides. So I'm going to get x plus 2 equals negative 5. Subtract 2 from both sides. X is going to equal negative 7. So there's one answer. Now I'll do it again here, but first I'm going to distribute the negative inside the parentheses. So 3x plus 2 equals negative 2x plus 5. move all the x's to one side, so I'm going to move them over here just like the last time. Get 5x plus 2 equals 5. Subtract 2 over to get away from x. So 5x equals 3. And then finally, get x by itself by dividing by 5. So x is going to equal 3/5. And that is our second answer, -7 and 3/5 or 3/5 -7, whichever order you prefer. But that's how you would do absolute value equations when there's two absolute value bars.